This is a stimulus check update and daily news report, and breaking news from Joe Manchin. He is an official no for the Build Back Better bill. He's been leading people on, playing hard to get for a few months now, but now he has made an official statement on Fox News. He is not going to vote for the Build Back Better bill. I'll play you the full clip of what he said, and reactions have been crazy from what Joe Manchin has said, especially from the White House. Jen Psaki, press secretary, has slammed Joe Manchin just 2 hours after Joe Manchin made that statement. So I'll give you the full update of what's going on there. I'll go over the latest stimulus check articles as well, such as this: $1,400 fourth stimulus checks in January. Are you qualified? And this one, stimulus checks worth $3,000 to start hitting banks days before Christmas. See if you are eligible for the cash, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers in just a few days, and I'll have more details to that later on in the video. But first, let's get to the big breaking news. Manchin says he won't vote for the Build Back Better Act, meaning that he is a hard no. I'm gonna play you the video clip, full video clip of what Joe Manchin says, then I'll give you the White House reaction and how Jen Psaki slams Manchin after that. So take a look at what Joe Manchin has to say.
Joining us now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Senator, welcome back to Fox News.
Good to be with you, Brett.
Senator, you're at the center of this negotiation with the president over his social spending and tax bill, the Build Back Better bill that is not coming up in the Senate before the new year, in part largely because of your reservations. Without you, the leadership doesn't have the votes it needs. So today, right now, what's the state?
Well, Brett, you know, this is a mammoth piece of legislation, and I had my reservations from the beginning when I heard about it 5.5 months ago, and I've been working diligently every day and every minute of every day. I've been working on this, meeting with, whether it be the President Biden, whether it be Majority Leader Schumer and his staff, whether it would be with Nancy Pelosi, all of my colleagues, I mean, from all different spectrums of the political spectrum, if you will, from the right. I've done everything humanly possible. And you know my concerns I had, and I still have these concerns. And where I'm at right now, the inflation that I was concerned about, it's not transitory, it's real. It's harming every West Virginian. It's making it almost difficult for them to continue to go to their jobs. The cost of gasoline, the cost of groceries, the cost of utility bills, all of these things are hitting in every aspect of their life. And you start looking at, then you have the debt that we're carrying at $29 trillion. You have also the geopolitical unrest that we have. You have the COVID variant, and that is wreaking havoc again. People are concerned. I've been with my family. I know everyone's concerned. So when you have these things coming at you the way they are right now, I've always said this, Brett, if I can't go home and explain it to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it. And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is
a no on this legislation. I have tried everything I know to do. And the president has worked diligently. He's been wonderful to work with. He knows I've had concerns and the problems I've had. And you know, the thing that we should all be is directing our attention towards the variant, the COVID that we have coming back at us in so many different aspects in different ways. It's affecting our lives again. Inflation that basically could really harm a lot of Americans, and especially those who are most needy and having a hard time struggling right now. So I think that's where our attention needs to be directed towards immediately.
You know,
and this has been going on for 5.5 months.
You're getting all the focus, Senator, but are there other Democratic senators who are concerned about this bill like you are? Have you talked?
I'm not going to speak for any of myself. I respect. They know they know the difficulties that I've been having with this. I've been very concerned about this. You know, when I first got to the Senate, back in 2011, I was having a meeting on armed services. And at that time, Admiral Mike Mullen was the chief of the Joint Chiefs, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And I'll never forget, in this hearing, he was asked a question, what's the greatest threat of the United States of America? And I'm thinking I'm going to hear something in, basically, with military threats we might have around the world. Without blinking an eye, he said, the debt of our nation is the greatest threat. Now, the debt was $14 trillion then, Brett. It's $29 trillion now. Inflation is real. It's not going away anytime soon. We don't know when the end will come. There's a lot of people hurting right now. This COVID we're fighting on a daily basis, and it's coming at different angles at us. These are serious things. There's a lot of good, but that bill is a mammoth piece of legislation, a mammoth piece. And when it's done even through regular order, it would be a tremendous, huge undertaking.
So Democrats obviously are frustrated in your caucus, progressives especially, but they point to what they've been doing since the first part of this. The Senate, the conventional wisdom is the longer it goes, it was going to be trimmed down, but the House passed bill was at $2.2 trillion, down from Bernie Sanders' $6 trillion, the initial pitch, which was lowered to $3.5 trillion, now comes in at just under $2 trillion. So your number at the beginning was 1.7. Where is the disconnect that you are now a no? You can't get to yes? Well, if you're a Democrat, you're pushing you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when this all came about, and I went and spoke to the leader, Schumer, at that time, and I explained to him where I was and the concerns I had. And at 1.5 trillion is where I thought the most that we could do if we just did it and basically took care of the things that we thought were the highest priorities. As you recall, Bernie started at $6 trillion. I think he was sincere what he thinks needs to be done, and the changes he would like to make are social changes. Then they went to $3.5 trillion. That went down to 2.2 from the House side, and even at 1.75. The thing that never changed, Brett, was basically the same amount of things that they're trying to accomplish by just changing, if you will, the amount of time that we can depend on them. So if you're going to do something and do it, pick what our priorities are, like most people do in their families or their businesses, and you fund them for 10 years, and you make sure they deliver the services for 10 years. It's hard to deliver service for 1 year or 3 years or 5 years, and how are we going to continue them? Unless it's going to put a burden, or unless we have to go back and make adjustments. But we should be up front and pick our priorities. That's the difference. So it hasn't shrunk in the desire. The intent is always there. And what we need to do is get our financial house in order, but be able to pay for what we do and do what we pay for.
The president put out a statement Friday saying that you still supported $1.7 trillion. He said you needed more time to finalize negotiations. And reporters asked you about that, and you said the president put out that statement. It's his statement, not mine. So now what you're saying today makes a lot more sense of why you said that. You're a no.
Well, Brett, here's the thing. I've tried. I mean, I really did. And the president was trying as hard as he could. He has an awful lot of irons in the fire right now. I said more on his plate than he needs for this to continue when I'm having the difficulties I'm having, and basically the challenges we have from different parts of our party, basically pushing in different ways. So everyone still has the aspirational things they want to do. They said, well, can we still make this fit? We'll just cut it down to 2 years versus 10 years. We'll cut this one down to 4 years versus 10 years, or 1 year versus 10 years. That's not being genuine as far as I'm concerned with my constituents in West Virginia.
The Congressional
and I've
Budget
said
Office.
this, if I can't explain it, they put the Congressional, it's the bipartisan, Brett, Congressional Budget Office, they're upwards of 4.5 trillion. 4.5 trillion, if everything that's still in the bill today, even though they said they've cut it down, still in the bill, would be paid for in full, you're in that 4.5 trillion. Again, I'm telling you, we've got COVID at us. We haven't tackled that one and finished that. We've got inflation, which we don't know when it's going to end, and that's going to take a tremendous, and that's what we're concerned about. That's what our efforts should be right now.
All right, last thing on this before we move on. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted out, people want to butt Manchin everyone to death, but learned helplessness is not a disposition that inspires confidence or support. The president has tools at his disposal. Leadership has tools at their disposal. If it's really just 1 or 2 votes, Senate should force a vote on Build Back Better. Understanding, Senator, that it's not just 1 or 2 votes, it's 51 potentially, with all the Republicans united against the bill. But what do you think she's talking about? And without your vote, this bill died.
Hey, Brett, the bottom line, I didn't hear the first at the start when you said something. I must have cut out. I didn't get the first.
She said people want to butt Manchin everyone to death. Butt Manchin says this, but learned helplessness is not a disposition that inspires confidence or support.
Well, okay, I got you. Here's the thing. When it's time, just vote. I've been saying that. just vote. If that's what people need to show where they are, then I've been trying to say it, and I don't know how many different ways I can say it. I go, the frustration from my colleagues, friends of mine on both sides of the aisle, but my Democrat colleagues who are frustrated. This has been strung out for so long, 5.5 months. They're trying to make this adjustment, this adjustment. They're just trying to make the adjustment for the time to fit the money, or the money to fit the time. Not changing our approach, not targeting things we should be doing, making sure that people basically that truly need it, or making sure that we can do things in a much better fashion. We have things that we can do in a bipartisan way, the way the Senate's supposed to work, if we'll just let it happen. Just go through the committees. Let's work it.
All right. Couple things first. There's a lot of criticism that says that you're doing this about environment and climate change. Your critics, your biggest critics, say West Virginia's heavy reliance on coal industry, and that you personally profit from investments in a family coal brokerage that you founded.
Sure.
What's your...
No, I've heard all those things, and I understand where they're coming from, and basically they're trying to get an agenda they wish to have. The main thing that we need is dependability, reliability. If not, you'll have what happened in Texas and happens in California. And no one's talking about defense of our country either. We just had a committee hearing on, do we have the energy that we need to defend our country in time if we would have a conflict or a war? All these things. And the reliability and affordability. I have put, as chairman of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee in the last 2 years, working in a bipartisan bill, billions of dollars in clean energy technology. We're doing everything humanly possible. We've done more than it's ever been done in the past, and we're continuing to do that. But you can't let technology be behind basically the needs. If technology is not there, we've got to make sure that we're able still to rely on the United States of America. We have been energy basically independent for the first time in many, many years, 67 years or more. And we should not have to depend on other parts of the world to give us the energy, or be able to hold us hostage for the energy or the foreign supply chains that we need for the products we use every day.
This is huge news. What are your thoughts on what Joe Manchin is saying? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you appreciate his honesty that he's finally saying that he is a hard no on the Build Back Better bill, that he won't vote for it? Or is this not a good thing? Should he work with the Democrats? Should he try to negotiate more? What are your thoughts on all this? This is big news. So how did everybody react, especially the White House? So Jen Psaki, White House press secretary, slams Manchin's sudden and inexplicable reversal on Build Back Better. So what we've been hearing and what I've been reporting is that Joe Manchin is not on board, but I guess that he's willing to negotiate and that he's willing to get something done. Looks like it's not the case anymore, and the White House is not too happy. So Senator Manchin's comments this morning on Fox are at odds with his discussion with this week with the president, with the White House staff, and with his own public utterances. Weeks ago, Senator Manchin committed to the president at his home in Wilmington to support the Build Back Better framework that the president then subsequently announced. Senator Manchin pledged repeatedly to negotiate on finalizing that framework in good faith. Going on to say, if his comments on Fox and written statement indicate an end to that effort, they represent a sudden and inexplicable reversal in his position and a breach of his commitments to the president and senators' colleagues in the House and Senate. Just as Senator Manchin reversed his position on Build Back Better this morning, we will continue to press him to see if he will reverse his position yet again to honor his prior commitments and be true to his word. So the White House basically saying, Joe Manchin could say no, but we're not going to take no for an answer. So it looks like the White House is going to turn up the heat, turn up the pressure, do something to still try to get Joe Manchin on board. White House not taking no for an answer. So I'll keep you updated on what happens with that. There's actually a lot of reactions from Bernie Sanders, from left progressives, from Republicans. I'm actually going to play you all those clips in a future video. I didn't want to make this video too long, so stay tuned for that video and check to see if that video is already out if you're watching this. So I'm going to have that video go out a little later today. You'll see all the reactions to this, which is kind of crazy, especially from Bernie Sanders. But let's get into the stimulus check news. So child tax credit stimulus payments likely to end as Senator Joe Manchin says he opposes Build Back Better plan. So with the child tax credit in that Build Back Better, meaning that if it does not pass as is, we're not going to have any more child tax credits. Now, Democrats, they're probably going to break things up to try to get some things passed, some things that are more essential, like the child tax credit, and a few other stimulus provisions that are really important to them that maybe Joe Manchin may support, but the bill as a whole is kind of in jeopardy at the moment. Early Christmas present, stimulus checks worth $3,000 to start hitting banks days before Christmas. See if you're eligible for cash. I don't like these headlines, but they come out on a daily basis, and I want to let you know what they're talking about. So these are talking about those college and university grants, which only go out to a really small amount of people. So I don't like how they say there's $3,000 stimulus checks, because they're just grants going out to a bunch of different universities. Like this, Bushnell University is going to give $600,000 to 200 students. Penn State giving $1,800. So those aren't really stimulus checks, and I wish they would stop making those headlines like that. So this one, $1,400 fourth stimulus checks in January. Are you qualified? So if you watch the channel, this is that same repeat one where it's just talking about people who had babies in 2021. You're eligible for a $1,400 stimulus check. It's not a fourth stimulus check, it's actually the third stimulus check, but you could claim it if you do a simple tax return of 2021. Even if you didn't make any money, you just file a simple $0 tax return just to claim that credit. And that is all the stimulus news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.